What is disease and what 4 things must we do once we have identified a disease? And the other question would be, I'll ask that one later on. So, all right, perfect. Let me see now who will be answering. Okay, Hank, I'm seeing you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me hear you. Go ahead.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Good evening to everyone. Well, as you know, the word suggests this is
Okay.
it speaks to an imbalance in the system, and an imbalance can be any number of things. But basically, in my mind, an imbalance or unbalance in the system. When the body is not at ease, in a state of unrest, where it can be physical, can be mental, and otherwise.
Thank you so much. At least I didn't have to call on you. Thank you. Appreciate that response. Definitely, it's when the body's out of balance. Okay, who would like to go ahead? The next person with our textbook definition of disease based on the video I just shared a while ago. Okay, who would like to go? All right, I'm not seeing any takers. Let me see somebody to ask. Let me just scroll down and see. All right, I'm going to be asking. Let me see if somebody has opened their mic to speak now. All right. Thelma, come on, Thelma, you tell us what is disease as we have been taught in our training. What is disease, Thelma? You can unmute yourself, so go ahead. While she's coming, I'm seeing a Sylvester. Is that my friend Sylvester, my former co-worker, our colleague? Let me know, or is that somebody else? Guys, pardon my excitement. Silly. Oh,
yes. I'm here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. That is so good. It's been years. Wow.
Let's go.
Thank you for joining us. Wow, this really makes a difference. Thank you.
Right.
You see, I have to take off the camera. Can't let them see the excitement.
I understand. I do understand.
Oh, wow. It's nice to hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. You're most
I hope
welcome.
the family is listening, and your daughter or son, I hope they're listening, because we all need to be empowered and be educated. Perfect. Good. Thank you, Silly.
All right.
All right. Okay, so Thelma, it's your turn. Go ahead now with our definition. Guys, time is going. Come on, guys. Time is going. I should see hands going up. We do this every Tuesday night. Why are you guys so shy tonight? Definition of disease, what 4 things? We have too many medical missionaries here who have been trained, and yet you guys are being silent on me tonight. What is happening? Oh, Thelma, you're not there? No? All right. Annette, you want to give a response? Okay. I'm going to get into the presentation, and then I'll come back to you guys later on because the time is going. Okay, so as for a flyer, it says what? Digestive woes. Too often I'm hearing people talking about I'm having acid reflux or gastritis or GERD and so many other different ailments. And they're wondering, okay, what is causing this? Well, tonight, we're definitely going to be speaking about what is causing these different issues. And I hope that you are prepared to make the changes, especially, I know when your information comes, people can rebel and they can say, oh, but we were told that this is good for us and we need it for this, we need it for that. But tonight, we're going to be sharing with you that you don't need certain things that you're eating and the damage it's causing to your system. And we're often being told, don't eat this, don't eat that, but we don't know why. And so we tend to go based on what we are hearing without having the true reason and what it is doing to our bodies. And so when we know what is happening to our bodies from the foods that we're eating, then we can make informed decisions, right? So tonight, let's get into our presentation. Okay, digestive woes. Welcome. We're told in Proverbs 26, verse 2, the curse causeless shall not come. The curse causeless shall not come. And disease never comes without a cause. So if you're having a headache, it is because there is an issue in the body. Maybe you did not drink enough water. Maybe you're not sleeping properly. Whatever the situation is, or you're too hungry, there is always a cause for whatever it is that we're going through. Exodus 15, verse 26 says, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. This is a promise from the Lord to provide healing as long as we obey him and obey the laws of health. Let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity of looking at what is causing some of the diseases that we are encountering on a daily basis. We thank you for the information and the education, the knowledge and wisdom that you have provided us with, and we're able to share tonight. We're asking that the Holy Spirit will be among us. We're asking that you'll open our hearts and our minds, and that once we have learned tonight, may we be willing to make the changes to experience health. May we be willing to transform our lives that we can radiate and glow with beauty, with health, and with youth, because this is your will for your children, not to be sick, but to be healthy, to be well. You said in your words, you wish above all things that we prosper and be in health, even as our souls prospereth. So thank you for hearing and answering our prayers for Christ's sake. Amen. So we can see from the word of God that he has promised us what? Healing, restoration, health. But it's conditional. If we do what? If we obey his statutes. Now, this is the definition that I was asking you guys for based on our video. It says, disease is an effort of nature to free the system from conditions that result from the violation of the laws of health. This world is governed by laws. At your company where you work, there are laws or rules and regulations. The country has laws. Your home as a parent, you have rules and regulations. And so there are laws, natural laws. There are health laws. So what is a disease? It's an effort from nature. And I'm going to ask a question in the chat. I'm going to ask a question. Please respond to me in the chat. So the definition says it is what? An effort of nature to free the system from conditions. We're talking about the body. Let us say a condition is the headache. The body was made to heal itself. And so you're having a headache. That there is a cause for the headache. Your body's trying to tell you that something is wrong somewhere, with the hope that you will diagnose the problem and try to fix the problem. So the headache is a symptom. Your body's saying, I'm thirsty, I'm dehydrated, give me some water. So the headache is a sign. So the body is saying to you, do something about this condition. So my question for you is, the disease, is it a friend or an enemy? What do you think? Is it our friend or is it our enemy? So let me see if I'm seeing the responses in the chat. Is disease friend? Okay, friend. Okay, I see Carolyn says friend. Anybody else? What do you think it is? Is it a disease? Is it our enemy or is it our friend? Yes, friend. Okay, friend. All right. Friend, okay. Friend, okay. Perfect. So yes, it's a friend, but not a friend you want to move in and stay long, all right? You want it in and out of your body as soon as possible. It is a friend in the sense that it tells us what is going on so that we just do not drop down and die immediately. And that is the amazing thing about our bodies. God has created our bodies in a way that it tells us. You get the alarm bell, the signal. Just like you have to wake up in the morning, you set your clock, you get the alarm for you to wake up. It's the same thing in the body. There's a fever. It is saying to us, there's some infection in the body. Get rid of this. And so the body is sending off the heat. If there's a swelling somewhere, the body's saying there's inflammation. If there's redness and pain, there is inflammation. Take care of what is causing the inflammation. So yeah, you could look at it as, yes, it is a friend to us because it is telling us something is wrong. Take care of that. If not, and many, many people ignore the warning signals. They're getting constant headaches. Oh, it's just a headache. They're having swelling on different areas of their body. Especially men, not throwing any words, but men somehow tend to ignore signals from the body until when it develops into something that's just major. All right. And I'm not just, generalizing right here. I'm just saying it seems to be women somehow seems to be more in tune with their health and they take care of themselves. But I know there are men who take care of themselves. So yeah, don't take that for anything. Now, I mentioned about the violation of the laws of health. What are the laws of health? They're simple. Pure air, sunlight, abstemiousness or rest, exercise, proper diet, the use of water, trust in divine power. These are the true remedies. Simple. These are nature's laws. These are the natural laws of health. So if you're getting enough pure air, so if you're inside, the air is stuffy, you're feeling faintish or you're nauseous, you want to get outside and get that pure, fresh air. And immediately you'll feel revived. The sunlight. The benefits from the sunlight is the vitamin D. When the sun hits the skin, it converts cholesterol under the skin into vitamin D, and that is stored in the liver. We need vitamin D to build our immune system. We need it to prevent certain kinds of cancers, among many, many other benefits. Our bodies need vitamin D so that our body can absorb our calcium, which is good for the bones and the teeth. Abstemiousness or being temperate or moderation in everything that we do. So if you work too much, you got to cut back. If you eat too much, you need moderation. If you're studying too much, you need moderation. So anything in this life, even though it's good, if we're overdoing it, it becomes not too good. Rest. How much rest do you get? Our bodies need to rest. And so we work. Are we resting enough? No. Exercise. We need to keep active and get busy and get the blood flowing and the lungs fully oxygenated. So exercise is so important. Proper diet. And when we speak of proper diet, removing all that is causing diseases in our bodies and eating healthy. Your fresh fruits and your vegetables, your nuts, your grains, whole grain, whole foods, plant-based foods, removing the meats and the dairies, the use of water. Are you drinking enough water? And put it in the chat. How many ounces of water have you had since day? Come on, respond to me. And water inside and outside. Taking the showers, the bath, whatever it is, but water internally, externally. Hydrotherapy. We use hydrotherapy for treatments, hot and cold treatments. Trust in divine power. When you're feeling down and depressed and stressed, where do you go? Do you have a source that you turn to? That source is Jesus Christ. That source is the Lord. And so when you're getting that feeling of just absolute hopelessness, we know we have a source and who we can turn to. So let's talk about digestive woes. What are causing some of the digestive problems that we're having? And you're going to be surprised at some of the stuff we're going to be talking about this evening. Don't throw any stones at me now, all right? Because I know you guys love certain things that you're eating, but we're going to be getting rid of them. So, Rose, you've had 2 showers. Woo, good for you. And 3 glasses of water. Rose, you need to have 5 more glasses. But if you do that now, it means that you might be getting up tonight to go to the bathroom. But you need to be getting at least 8 glasses of water. All right. Digestive woes. Now, the first thing we're going to be talking about that causes digestive problem is sugar. I know you've been told or you have been hearing over the years, stop using sugar, but maybe you just don't know why. And so we're not just going to tell you to stop doing something, but we're telling you, you have glass window, you won't throw stones, thank you. But we're telling you why. So not just don't, but we're providing you with the information so that you can make an informed decision. What is one of the main reasons? Sugar clogs the system. It hinders the working of the living machine. What is that living machine? Our bodies. And that is why if you're having a cold or a cough or the flu, whatever it is, you must remove sugars immediately. Do you wonder why children nowadays always have a cold, runny nose, coughing, sneezing? Their bodies, the system is clogged because they're drinking all kind of sweet stuff, from biscuits to cookies to gums to sweets, sweet juices. And these have no nutritional value. These are empty calories that we're feeding our kids on. Far too much sugar is ordinarily used in food. Cakes, sweet puddings, pastries, jellies, jams are active causes of indigestion. Especially harmful are the custards and puddings in which milk, eggs, and sugar are the chief ingredients. So are we seeing what is happening here? You're seeing the effects of sugar, and now we're hearing about the dairies. And when we're combining, so look at it. If the sugar itself alone is so dangerous, now add it to dairy, and you're going to see the big issues we're going to be having. Look at some of the effects of sugar. Refined sugar causes an increase in fats and cholesterol in the bloodstream, which may contribute to what? Diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases. Sugar destroys the cells of the walls of blood vessels. Refined sugar causes calcium plaque buildup in the arteries. Refined sugar is packed with calories and may lead to obesity. Are you guys agreeing with what we're talking about here? If you're having heart problem, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, you want to be removing the sugar, and don't wait until you're having these diseases. In fact, if you're still using sugar, remove it immediately. And if you're suffering from any of these diseases, you need to stop using sugar from last year, okay? The excessive use of sugar may lead to malnutrition, since the majority of the calories you get from the sugar are empty calories, providing no vitamins or minerals. So if you're eating to nourish your body. So sugar, it's not a nutrient. It's garbage. It should be thrown out. So after tonight, I'm hoping, even maybe if you have to get up and excuse yourself a bit just to go grab the sugar from the cupboard and put it in the garbage, I'll excuse you. I'll wait for you. So if you need a minute or two, let me know, and I'll just wait while I grab the sugar and put it in the garbage. Sugar depresses the immune system. Do you get the cold often? Are you bothered by sinusitis? Always runny nose? Sugar decreases serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter of the brain that prevents depression and promotes sleep. So if you're having a lot of sugar and you're feeling depressed all the time, you can't sleep properly, maybe you want to be looking at the sugars that you're eating. Sugar increases the severity of premenstrual syndrome. Ladies, girls, children, stop using sugar. Parents, stop giving your children sugar. If they're having sugar and continue to have menstrual cramp and all these things, it is because sugar is impacting their health. Sugar lowers the threshold for pain. You just can't tolerate pain no matter how simple the pain is. Sugar causes what? Dental caries, especially in our children. Sugar can cause what? Hyperactivity, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and crankiness in children. We know this is true. Teachers will tell you that children cannot sit still. They're all over the place, just bounding, running around, giving a lot of headache and heartache in school. Look at the sweets, the juices, the candies, the cookies, all that they're getting. Sugar can increase what? Triglycerides, and this will cause the hardening of the arteries, which can lead to stroke, heart attack, etc. Sugar leads to chromium deficiency, and our bodies, chromium is one of the minerals that our bodies need. Sugar can weaken the eyesight, and it contributes to what? Obesity. Are you seeing the effects of putting sugars in our bodies? Sometimes we don't know what we're doing, but because we can't control the appetite and we have become so accustomed to certain things, we just can't let it go. But I'm hoping that after tonight, okay, so I'm seeing the questions. I'm going to take the questions after I'm finished, all right? So yes, we will be talking about alternatives to sugar. So I hope that we're thinking and we're really trying to see how we can make the changes. Now, this is a long list of effects of using sugar. I'm just going to browse through them because we're watching the time. So sugar can cause what? Gallstones, appendicitis, hemorrhoids, varicose veins, premature aging, fatigue, cataract, depression. Look at the different kind of cancers that sugar can cause: colon, rectal, breast, ovarian, uterine, prostate, kidney, gastric, cancers of the nervous system. Do you know that whenever a person is diagnosed with sugar, one of the very first things the doctor remove them from is sugar? Did you know that? Anybody here who may have had cancer before? The very first thing they'll take you off is sugar because cancer feeds on sugar, right? If you want to create an environment for cancer to develop and to grow, then continue using sugar. But tonight, we're providing the education so that we're going to be making better decisions. No, sugar weakens white blood cells' ability to destroy bacteria. And as you would know, the white blood cells, these are what? The army in the body. So when an invader, when something gets into our body, into our bloodstream that should not be there, a pathogen, when it gets into our bodies, immediately the soldiers, the white blood cells recognize this as an invader. And so it will enclose this thing, gobbles it up, swallows it, and destroys it. But when we're having sugars, the blood cells do not have the ability to fight disease. And so we're more susceptible to getting diseases. And that is why we become sick. The flus, the cough, the cancers, diabetes, hypertension, whatever it is, the body cannot fight off these diseases. This is just a study that was done showing you how the body reacts when a certain amount of sugars goes into the body. And so the more sugar we have is the more we are destroying our white bacteria, up to 92% once we increase our sugar usage. So we have to be very careful. And I know sugar, it's addictive. It is called the sweet poison. Sugar is addictive. Anybody can know that. We can all testify. It's hard. Because even this morning, or was it yesterday morning, during a Daniel fast, and people are asking, oh, I do have a sweet tooth. What can I use? It is addictive, but it's not impossible to get rid of the sugars. So somebody did ask, what are the substitutes for sugar? We do have some natural substitutes for sugar. We've got honey, maple syrup, dates, raisins, molasses, banana, cane juice, among other sweeteners. Stevia is another one. But if you're diabetic, cut off the sweets altogether until you have that under control. So natural sweeteners have several nutrients in them, as well as fiber, unlike crystallized sugar, which is stripped of nutrients. It causes tooth decay and is destructive to the cells in the inner lining of the blood vessels. So the sugar, it has been stripped. Anything white, no good. As long as it's white, it's not good for us. White flour, white sugar, white salt, anything white should not be entering into our bodies, including the sugar. They have stripped it. So they've taken the sugar cane and they've processed it, stripped it of all its nutrients to the point where what is left is poisonous, and that is the sugar that they're selling. Natural sweeteners must be used in moderation because overconsumption can produce the same effect as using processed sugar. So all things in moderation, and we talked about moderation being one of the laws of health, okay? All right, the next one we're going to be talking about is milk. For the parents who are on, you have been told by the doctors, we have been brainwashed into thinking that we need animals' milk. Now, my question to you, let me see if you guys are responding to me in the chat. Who is of a higher class? Yes, monk fruit is excellent. Who is of a higher class? Humans or animals? Come on, guys, speak to me in the chat. Humans or animals? Who is of a higher class? Humans or animals? I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for you to respond to me in the chat. Yes, Rose, we are humans. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, humans. Now, questions for you. Have you ever seen the dog running down the donkey to drink its milk, or running down the cows to drink its milk? That's another question. Have you ever seen the dog running down the cat, or no? Okay, or the donkey, okay, to drink its milk? No. Wonderful. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So since we're higher than the animals, you have not seen other animals drinking the milk of other animals unless we feed it to them. And we are intelligent beings created in God's image. The animals have what? Instinct. But yet, they do not drink the milk of other animals. But us, who are smart, intelligent, we are running down to drink the animal's milk. Now, do you recognize that there is something wrong with this picture and that we're not supposed to be drinking the milk of animals? Are you guys following me? Animals are not drinking animals' milk. But as human beings, smart, intelligent creatures, we are stooping so low, we are degrading ourselves to be drinking the animal's milk. Come on. Are you guys feeling me? Are you reasoning this out with me? Because we have been brainwashed into being told that we need what? Calcium from the milk for strong bones, and we need protein for strong bones and teeth. God would not have given us a deficient diet because he said what? Fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables. That is what constitute the diet for mankind. We have been brainwashed by the dairy industry into thinking that we need animals' milk. We do not need animals' milk. How old were you? A parent could maybe respond to me. How old was your child when you weaned that child? How old was your child? I don't have a child, so I'm not sure what age, but I'm sure maybe by the time they're what? 2 or maybe 3? 2, 3 years old? How old do you wean your child? But you wean that child from drinking milk, 23 months, okay, almost 2 years old. So you wean your child from drinking your milk as a parent, right? Okay. Now, if I were to say to one of the men here to go and drink their mother's milk, oh, they would tell me that's an insult. If I were to say, you go and suck your mother's breast, get some milk, that would have been an insult. If I tell them to go and get their mother's milk to drink. Now, as human beings, why are we drinking animals' milk? It does not make sense. Because if somebody tells you to go and drink your mother's milk, you are going to be upset and angry. Oh, dare you tell me to go and drink my mother's milk? So if we're human beings and we're not drinking the milk from human beings, why are we drinking animal milk? Okay. Yummy, yum. That is the feeling from drinking a big cup of warm milk, right? We love milk and cereal, milk and cookies, or milk for strong bones and teeth. In fact, that's what we were told. While it is true that dairy milk contains calcium, it also contains lactose, and casein, which makes it difficult on the body. Casein is the animal protein that makes up 87% of cow's milk. And the casein, the body has a hard time digesting casein. And we're going to talk more about it. Kids and their parents need to know how milk has been linked to type 1 diabetes, prostate cancer, osteoporosis, multiple sclerosis, or other autoimmune diseases, and how casein, the main protein in dairy foods, has been shown to experimentally promote cancer and increase blood, cholesterol, and plaque in the arteries. When the artery is filled with plaque, the end result is a stroke or a heart attack. Researchers found that animal protein, unlike plant-based protein, increases the acid load in the body. Our body should not be in an acidic environment. It increases acid. When it increases acid loads, that means that our blood and tissues become more acidic. The body does not like this acidic environment and begins to fight it. Our bodies are supposed to be in an alkalinic environment, but not acidic. In order to neutralize the acid, the body uses calcium. Now listen, when there's too much acid in the body needs what? Calcium to neutralize the acid. So you're drinking a lot of milk, the environment is acidic. The body cannot handle the acid. It must get rid of this by neutralizing it. How is it going to do that? By using the calcium? No. Where in the body do we have calcium? So just follow what is happening. Now, this calcium must come from somewhere. It ends up being pulled from the bones, and the calcium loss weakens them, putting them at greater risk for fracture. So if you know, for anybody, their bones are brittle, easily become fractured. Osteoporosis, it's because, and if they're drinking milk, it is because the body cannot handle the acid. It is pulling the calcium and weakening the bones. This is what happens when we're drinking milk. Now, for somebody who would say to me, well, I need to drink milk, or whatever the situation is, milk, there's nothing wrong with milk. Even if back in the day when we were growing up, we could take the chance and drink milk. But why is it not safe to drink milk today or to eat dairy products? Because animals are more diseased now than before. Hormones, antibiotics, and other chemicals injected into the animals are passed on in their flesh and their byproducts, which are the milk, the cheese, the butter, ice cream, cakes, etc. So if you believe that we're not ingesting the hormones and the antibiotics from the animals, then we're making a big mistake. I've noticed boys now are getting boobs, 10, 11, 12, teenage boys, and you wonder what is going on. Why are boys, getting breasts? Because they're being fed on these milk, on dairy products, and they have these hormones and the antibiotics in them. Girls are developing too early. Girls are getting their period at 9. These are babies. Parents, you're doing an injustice to your children. The education begins with you as parents. You determine what your children eat. You make the choice. You purchase the foods. You go to the supermarket. The change must begin with you as parents. When you eat these foods, the chemicals are passed onto the eater, thus causing negative changes in your body. So it does not stop with the animals. As long as we are consuming the animals, we're getting these things. No, when you're having milk, what are you getting along with your milk? You're getting bacteria, sounds yummy, viruses, scrumptious, prions, antibiotics, hormones, organic pesticides, and growth stimulants. These are what we're getting in our bodies. Sounds yummy and scrumptious, doesn't it? Yes, I'm sure you just want some diseases right now, right? You need some bacteria and some viruses and the pus and the blood. Yes, these are what we're getting in our bodies. Does it sound yummy to you? Now, published data show that animal protein promotes the growth of tumors. And if we're experiencing tumor growth, that can lead to what? Cancers. Animal protein increases the level of a hormone, which is an insulin growth factor 1, which is a risk factor for cancer. And high casein diets allow more carcinogens into cells, which allow more dangerous carcinogens products to bind to DNA. The end result of this is cancer. Are you wondering why every second person, 3 in 5 persons now have cancer? It might even be higher in terms of the statistics. It is crazy. Almost every other person you're hearing, they have cancer. Now, let's look at some of the diseases, the cancers related to cow's milk: prostate, ovarian, rectal, breast, lymphoma. These are some of the cancers linked to milk. Animal protein that we consume, they have the tendency to block the production of activated vitamin D, leaving the body with lower levels of vitamin D in the blood. And when you're feeding the kids on cow's milk, cheese, the eggs, the butters, and all this stuff, no wonder they're getting the cold. Their body does not have enough vitamin D that will protect the immune system. And you're wondering, why am my child always having a runny nose? Remove the sugars, remove the milk, remove all dairy products, and see your child revive with health. As disease in animal increases, the use of milk and eggs will become more and more unsafe. An effort should be made to supply their place with other things that are healthful and inexpensive. These are just other diseases, a whole long list of diseases: chronic fatigue, tension headaches, hyperactivity, bedwetting. Is your child still wetting bed at a certain age? Watch the milk. Allergies. Are you always having sinus issues, always congested? Asthma. Parents, if your children have asthma, remove milk. Constipation. These are some of the ailments. There are a long list of them, which you can see on the screen. Ulcers, acne. Your teenagers have acne problem. Juvenile diabetes, which is on the increase. Heart disease, high cholesterol. All these among others. Now, you're going to be asking me the question, if I remove milk, where do I get my protein? Where do I get my calcium? Sesame seed has the highest form of calcium on the face of this earth in terms of plant calcium. Your blackstrap molasses, soybean, almond, black currants, orange, cabbage, broccoli, we can get among other food sources. The Lord has given us plants to eat. It's the plants, they have every single thing that we need for life and for health. You cannot eat what is dead and expect to stay alive. All that you're eating, when you eat the chicken and the fish, it's dead, rotten carcass. If you had not put it in the fridge, in the freezer, it would be stink and it would be filled with maggots. That's all that you're eating. And just as how it would have rotted out there, it rots in your body, it ferments in your body, it rots, and the toxins remain in your body, and so you become sick with the cancers, etc. The next one, butter. Most types of butter contain casein, the animal protein or rennet from an animal source, which can be difficult to digest and contribute to health issues similar to milk. It is better to dispense with it altogether, as it can have the same effects on the body as dairy milk. And we already talked about the effects of milk on the body. The butter is the same thing because it is derived from milk. Cheese, yummy, yummy, yummy cheese. Everybody likes cheese. I used to love cheese. So what I'm saying to you now, I am speaking from what? Experience. I'm not speaking from somebody who does not know what you're going through when you're trying to remove certain things from your diet and you're finding it difficult. I used to love cheese. Okay? So I'm just speaking from experience. I can relate to the difficulty when you're trying to remove certain things. Cheese should never be introduced into the stomach. I'll repeat for emphasis. Cheese should never be introduced into the stomach. This is from Councils on Diets and Foods, and at the page, you can research that on Google. Cheese is still more objectionable. It is wholly unfit for food. Yeah, you're hearing that? It is objectionable. We should not be eating it. It is wholly unfit for food. Cheese is the number one cause of artery blockage. It is the leading cause of allergies, and it contains the animal protein casein. Even vegetable cheese has casein, which is difficult to digest. And so I know people are now saying, oh, I don't use regular cheese, I'm using veggie cheese or vegan cheese. Check the ingredients. I've done that for myself, and you're going to see casein in it, which is a animal protein. Just go from scratch. Make your own cheese. Now let's look at some of the drawbacks of having cheese. It is deficient in certain nutrients. Cheese contains neither vitamin C nor fiber. It is very poor in carbohydrates and iron. So if it does not have fiber in it, it means that you may become constipated by using cheese. Plus, it has no vitamin C that helps with the immune system. It has no carbs or any iron. So as you can see, it really lacks the proper nutrients that our bodies need. We have been brainwashed. Time for us to change the narrative and stop listening to what the dairy industry has been telling us. It is high in salt. 100 grams of matured cheese contains 2 to 3 grams of salt. That's a lot of salt, which is half of the recommended daily allowance for an adult. So we do not need to be having the cheese. It's too high in salt. What are some of the disadvantages of having cheese? Now, it affects our heart and our arteries. Cheese is rich in substances that are the most harmful for the cardiovascular system. We're talking about fats, cholesterol, and sodium. Remember, plants do not have cholesterol, but anything from an animal, anything that has an eye, a mother, a liver, has cholesterol. The cheese, it's from animals, so it is loaded with cholesterol. It's high in cholesterol. This affects your heart and your blood vessels. Hypertensive amines such as tyramine and histamine. These are some amines that are found in the cheese, and these can do what? Send up your blood pressure level. Tyramine causes the brain to send off false signals. This causes the individual to be delusional and see and hear things that are not present or even elevate the blood pressure. I am hoping after tonight, you guys are going to be getting the cheese and putting it in the garbage. It would be better to make your own cheese, which is not aged, molded, or contain any animal protein and will not give the harmful effects of dairy cheese. So I know you're asking then, how can I make my own cheese? And because I know you're asking, and because we're telling you to stop using certain things, we try to provide healthy alternative. So I'm sharing tonight a sliceable cheddar cheese. I've tried this before and it was off the chart. It was good. These are some of the ingredients that you're going to be using to make your cheese. You could maybe take a screenshot from what I'm displaying here. or maybe later on I could show it again. But you're seeing the ingredients. You're going to need agar, water, some cashews. You're going to need water, cashews, sesame seeds, bell pepper, onions, garlic, dillweed. Nutritional yeast, we're still questioning that one. So maybe you could leave that one out. When I have more information, I'll definitely come back regarding nutritional yeast and your pink Himalayan sea salt. So you can take a screenshot. And these are the instructions of making your cheese. You could take a screenshot as well. I'll just leave it up a little minute or two. And then you can, once you have taken it off, then I can just remove it. So that's your recipe for the cheese. Right. Got it? If anything, I can always show it again later on. Now, ice cream. Oh, everybody loves ice cream. But what is wrong with ice cream? Food should not be eaten very hot or very cold. If food is cold, the vital force of the stomach is drawn upon in order to warm it up before digestion can take place. So we know our body is at a certain temperature, right? So when we're eating that cold ice cream, it goes down cold as it is. The stomach now has to warm up that before it can be digested. Cold drinks are injurious for the same reason, while the free use of hot drinks is debilitating. So it should not be hot or too cold. We want to have a balance, warm and appetizing. Ice cream is cold at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but the body is warm at 98.6. Therefore, the stomach needs to heat up the cold food to body temperature before it can be digested. Meanwhile, the food begins to ferment and sour. So when you have that ice cream cake, the body's at one temperature, one extreme, while the food is at another extreme, temperature-wise. It goes down. The stomach cannot digest the food that way, and so it is warming it up. While that is taking place, the stomach cannot be digesting and warming up at the same time. It cannot be digesting and increasing the temperature. So the ice cream or the ice cream cake, it's placed on hold while the warming up is taking place. During that process, it ferments in the stomach and gets sour. So you're having, whether you're passing gas, you're burping, acid reflux, gastritis, when you burp, that sour smell coming up, it is because the food is fermented in the stomach. Let's look at this quotation. Large quantities of milk and sugar eaten together are injurious. So what are some of the stuff that we find milk and sugar in? People put them in teas. We've got them in ice creams, cakes, puddings, pies, you name it. They impart impurities to the system. Animals from which milk is obtained are not always healthy, as they may be diseased. A cow may be apparently well in the morning and die before night. Then she was diseased in the morning and her milk was diseased, but you did not know it. The animal creation is diseased. Flesh meats are diseased. Could we know that animals were in perfect health? I would recommend that people eat flesh meats sooner than large quantities of milk and sugar. So the writer is saying that if she were able to say that animals were free of disease today, she would even recommend us eating meat above having milk and sugar. That is how dangerous milk and sugar are. But because we know animals are diseased, we want to just discard altogether of animals, milk, and sugar. They are harmful to our bodies. Did you know that if an animal has cancer, a cow has cancer, that cow weighs 1,000 tons, 1,000 pounds, 1,000 pounds, or a ton? A butcher will not throw out that sick cow. If it has cancer in the stomach or cancer in the leg or wherever, the farmer or the butcher will remove the cancerous portion, so they say, and sell that meat. There's no way they're going to be throwing it out. And same thing for the chickens, same thing for other animals. They're selling us diseased animals, and that is why we're sick and we're getting the cancers. Especially harmful are the custards and puddings in which milk, eggs, and sugars are the chief ingredients. The free use of milk and sugar together should be avoided. So mixing of milk and sugar, we have already seen the effects of milk by itself, of sugar by itself. Now we're combining them together, much more dangerous. We want to talk about spices, condiments, fermented items. We're asked the question over and over, what about spices and why can't we use certain spices? Let's look at it. The use of unnatural stimulants is destructive to health and has a benumbing influence upon the brain, make it impossible to appreciate eternal things. The stomach mechanically and chemically digests food to pass onto the small intestines for further processing. So there's a process. Food enters the mouth. Certain foods like protein, digestion starts where in the mouth. And so it passes through into the esophagus, down into the intestines, where the processing starts taking place for the body to be able to use the nutrients that will pass into the cells for us to get the energy that we need, right? So there's a process. The stomach has what we call a coating. So there is a tender coating on the inner walls of the stomach, and we need to take care of it by avoiding any activity which can irritate or scar the walls of the stomach, which can lead to several gastric conditions, including acid reflux, GERD, peptic ulcers, gastritis, etc. Many people suffer from digestive problems such as acid reflux and GERDs. Ulcers, too many people, and it's because you don't know why. So you're having a lot of cayenne pepper, a lot of curry, use a lot of cinnamon, use a lot of ginger. And then you're saying, yeah, these things are good. But what is happening inside the stomach wall, it has a coating. Now, this coating, it is tender, it is sensitive. When we're using irritating substances like spices and condiments, it slowly destroys the inner coating, leaving the stomach raw. People have told me that when they try to drink or eat certain things, the pain in the stomach, they are afraid to eat because they have destroyed that tender lining in their stomach. A couple of months ago, a lady came to see me. She was referred to me. She had severe ulcers in her stomach. She was as skinny as could be because she was afraid to eat. Even water irritated her stomach, to the point where she said even if she drank water, the pain was excruciating. And as a result, she didn't want to eat anything. But she was in a bad condition because she was not eating, she was malnourished, and she was just sick. She needed help to heal her stomach. But praise God, we are equipped with the knowledge to heal, and I helped her to heal her stomach. So it is serious what we're talking about. We're not just speaking from the top of our heads. We're speaking from people who have had the experiences. Condiments, spices, and fermented items irritate the stomach. They elevate the blood pressure and significantly cause other harmful health conditions. Now, let's look at some of the condiments we're going to be avoiding. Mustards. Don't throw any stones over here. Mayonnaise, veganese, mayonnaise, ketchup, vinaigrette dressing, Worcester sauce, barbecue sauces. I know a lot of people make their salads and they put their mayonnaise. And for those who now say, oh, I'm vegan, so I use veganese or mayonnaise, these all have ingredients that are not healthy. You're going to ask me, so what should we do? What should we use? Hold on. I'm providing some solutions. I'm providing some alternatives, all right? Now, here I'm giving a salad dressing, and we shared some this morning in the chat for those on the Daniel diet fast. We shared some recipes in the chat today. So this is a salad dressing that you can make. and you're going to be getting a 1/3 cup of raw cashew nuts, yeah, 2 cucumbers, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 1 tablespoon honey, a 1/4 teaspoon pink Himalayan sea salt. Just blend everything in your blender until it's creamy. Simple, easy. You make your own dressing. You know what is in your dressing. It's always important to make our own foods from scratch. At least we know what we're eating. Here's another dressing as well. This is a pumpkin seed dressing. 1 cup pumpkin seeds, 4 tablespoons chia seeds, a 1/4 teaspoon pink Himalayan sea salt, 1 tablespoon honey, 1 cup water. Blend everything together for a nice pumpkin seed dressing. There are many others that we could share with you. Now, this is a cucumber salad, and all you need, 1 medium cucumber, 1 small cucumber, 4 tomatoes, 1 cup sweet corn. You're going to slice. And so we arrange the bigger cucumber, we cut them in slices, and we use that as a bed. And then we cut up the smaller cucumber with the tomatoes and the corn, and we spread them on top of that bed, that cucumber bed. Cucumbers contain protein, vitamin A, and vitamins B, C, and E. They are also rich in minerals such as potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, iron, and sulfur. So we can definitely see the importance of having these things in our diet. And the last one I'm going to touch on for tonight, because I want to end by 8:30 so we can ask some questions, answer questions, and close by 9 o'clock. And I'll finish the rest of this presentation another time. Now, what is vinegar? Many people tend to ask about vinegar. And they're talking about apple cider vinegar. It is a sharp tasting liquid made especially from sour wine, malt, or cider that is used to add flavor to or to preserve food. So most of our mayonnaise, ketchup, mayonnaise, veganese, whatever it is, sauces, they have vinegar because they use the vinegar for flavor and for preservative. And that is why we have that list of what to avoid. Normally, there's a balance in the stomach between the acidic gastric juices and the protective, regenerative nature of the mucosa lining of the stomach. So the mucus, the stomach, maintain that balance between the gastric juices or the hydrochloric acid that the stomach produces and that lining. There's a balance, a healthy balance right there. So we know that the stomach produces the acid to break down the foods, to kill bacteria. And even though it is acidic, within the stomach, it is quite okay because there is a healthy balance between the stomach lining and the acid. Okay, follow me? Now, listen, when this balance is thrown off, the stage is set for the development of a peptic ulcer, which is a chronic solitary erosion of a portion of the inner lining of the stomach. And so normally the balance remains, but the moment we start introducing other acids such as vinegar, alcohol, any of these things, those irritating spices, peppers, we're throwing off the balance. And now we're seeing problems stepping in. Vinegar is a toxic substance that, if taken in sufficient quantities, produces serious alterations in the coagulative properties of the blood, known as disseminated intravascular coagulopathy, besides anemia and renal failure. So vinegar, it prevents the proper clotting of the blood. It can cause anemia as well as kidney problems. Vinegar also erodes our dental enamel, and it breaks the mucus barrier that protects the mucous membrane of the stomach and causes gastritis. So remember, the vinegar is now acid that we're introducing. Your stomach already has its own acid. We're now adding additional acid, which is too much. It makes the stomach too acidic. And that's when these problems occur. As vinegar passes to the bloodstream, it causes anemia due to what? Hemolysis, which is destruction of the red blood cells. We're destroying our red blood cells when we're taking vinegar, and this results in what? Anemia. Vinegar is fermented alcohol. It poisons the blood and makes it impure. Sugar and vinegar combined, as in ketchup, can lead to impure thoughts and to leukemia. And what is leukemia? Cancer of the blood. So tonight, for those who there's a big fad out there talking about using vinegar for weight loss, vinegar for health, vinegar for this, vinegar for that. It's not true. These are all myths. These are all fads. We are providing you with the correct information because God wants us to be healthy. Vinegar also depletes calcium phosphate from bones and teeth, just weakening them. And there's a story that was told about this gentleman doing one of our medical missionary team. They were having a lecture at a church, and this gentleman told them that he has been using episodic. Oh, just a moment there. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how the person. Okay, let's hope we don't have any more disturbances. Yes, so there was a meeting, medical missionary meeting, and this gentleman told the story of how he was using vinegar because he was told that vinegar was good for health. And by using this vinegar, it eventually made a hole in his stomach. He ended up with severe stomach problems. So vinegar can make a hole in your stomach. Now we want to avoid some of the foods that contain vinegar, and I already gave a list of those foods. So we have the ketchup, the mayonnaise, or any kind of salad dressing. Make your own salad dressings or your sauces, and you can use tomato paste. And for the substitute for vinegar, you can use your lemon juice. Excellent substitute. That's what we have been using. Now we will stop here for tonight, and then later on we're going to be getting into the rest of the presentation on another Tuesday night. Okay, where are we seeing substitute though? Why? For the vinegar? Okay, well, it's now Q&A. So yeah, you guys can unmute yourselves, and then it's kind of hard to be presenting and answering at the same time. Okay, but now that I'm finished, we can ask the questions. And so let us get into the questions. All right. Questions. I'm going to look through the chat. Sister Pam or somebody want to help me with the questions with the chat? Because sometimes I miss them in the chat, especially when I'm presenting. So I could use some help with going through the chat to see the questions. Oh, sis, you can unmute yourself and maybe help me with what's going on in the chat as I take the hands. So yes, any questions? Put up your hands and we'll take the hands. All right, I see Veronica, we're gonna take you. Yes, Samsung. All right. And then Sister
I chipped
P.
out for a bit.
All
Chipped out for a minute, but I'm back.
All right, perfect. So
You
help
want
me
me to
with
check the chat?
Yes, please. And I'll just take the hands in the meanwhile. So Veronica, go ahead, Veronica. I'm going to allow you guys to unmute yourselves.
Good evening and happy new year, Sister Angela. I joined a little late, but I just was curious to see, and I know you're on YouTube, so I know I can watch the replay, but can you share, I think you were mentioning about aged cheese and even the plant-based cheese that we buy. And, last year I became plant-based. And so I don't make everything, but I'm learning to make some things, but I'm just not 100% there. And I believe if you could just remind me, what is it that you said that is in the store-bought cheese and mayonnaise that's plant-based, that's a problem. I know we can read the ingredients, and yes, you're right that nutritional yeast is questionable, but as long as it doesn't have vinegar, what did you say, if anything was in the store-bought plant-based products that we buy? That was a
Okay.
problem. Thank you.
No problem. So for the cheese, we have the casein, that is CASEIN, and that's an animal protein. So even though it is supposed to be vegan cheese or vegetable cheese, they are putting that animal protein in the cheese. So we have to be looking out for that, because remember, they are not making this food for health, but for making money. It's about making their profit, right? It's not for our health. We're eating for health. And because the world has ran with plant-based, with being vegan, they have to cater to that market. So they try to provide healthy substitute, which is not really healthy. And so they're putting these animal protein in the so-called veggie cheese or vegan cheese. So it's best to avoid them altogether. As it relates to the sauces, they have in vinegar in them. Sugars are in these things as well. And if we have just looked at the impact of both sugar and vinegar by themselves, now imagine the combination of both, dangerous. Even the sauces, like the salad dressings, they have milk, they have vinegars, they have sugars. Deadly combination. So, yeah.
Right. I was just talking about the plant-based versions, because on the package, you're saying even though it says vegan, we cannot trust that it's vegan, because if it had the vegan, the V symbol in the US, there's a symbol on food if it's plant-based and has no animal products. So if I buy something that has that, I look on the back, but I'm like, okay, this is plant-based. I look on the back for the vinegar and things like that, nutritional yeast and the other names that are used for MSG. So you're saying even though it has vegan, if it's cheese and I see the word casein on the back, that that's proving that it's not vegan, but somehow in the US they can. I'm gonna look on the cheese. I just wanted to make sure. And I'm trying to Google to see if there's plant-based casein, but I'm gonna look on my cheese to see. And even because I've seen plant-based aged cheese. It was like a aged cheddar. I saw an aged cheddar and I saw smoked Gouda. So the aged plant-based cheese is a problem as well, even though it's not animal.
Let me repeat, you're checking the ingredients, okay? So we're looking at the ingredients. If the ingredients were to show casein, plant protein, plants do not have casein. Casein is an animal protein. Another thing what you can do, once you've read the ingredients, you can Google the ingredients, because sometimes these ingredients have different names. They are not catering to us for our health. They are catering to make money. So Google all these ingredients. You can look for another name for so-and-so. I tend to do that because, and another thing, Veronica, if you want to know if this thing is food, if it has names you cannot recognize, you cannot pronounce, it's not food. Just don't bother to eat it. So let us say it's a vegan cheese. It should have maybe cashews, almonds. I'm just trying to find some ingredients, stuff that we can recognize and that we know as foods. If it has names that are 20 letters or more, some color, letters, foods are simple. Foods are simple. If it's F47 or FD red, these are not foods. So if your ingredients are more than 5, 6 ingredients, you've got 20 or 40 ingredients, that's not food. So just let us remember that they're not catering for us. They're not catering. They don't care about our health. They care about making a profit. And because everybody's going vegan, 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 so their plan is, okay, since I want vegan, let us give them vegan. It's not real food. So check the ingredients. If it has casein, that is not a plant source. It's an animal protein. Right? Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, hi.
Yeah, go ahead, Samson.
Yes,
Leonie?
my
Oh, okay.
yes, it's Tedla.
Oh, Tedla, hey, how you
Yes,
doing?
my name should have showed up. I don't know why it didn't show up, but it's all
Okay.
good. I'll fix that next time.
Okay.
First of all, how do how do you spell casein?
Casein.
Casein. Okay.
Yes, casein. You can Google it. It's an animal protein.
Okay. And the spices. So if I was making food and I put some cayenne pepper, um, is that a right? I think you were saying something about the spices.
Yes. So at the next presentation, I'll talk more about the peppers, but we should be avoiding. I've already explained how the stomach, that tender lining of the stomach. Okay. So let's reason. When you eat hot pepper, it burns the mouth, right? Like me, I can't tolerate pepper any at all. Even if it's just a little bit of pepper, my nose is running, my eyes feel like they're popping out of my head, my whole body. I feel it in every fiber of my being. No, maybe I'm just overly sensitive to pepper. But if that is taking place in my mouth, which, the mouth, the tongue is, it's hard, right? It's made to handle certain temperatures and whatever. Now, the stomach is more tender and much more sensitive than the mouth, than the tongue. Now, imagine if the pepper is doing all of that to the mouth. Can you imagine what's taking place? And so remember, the tongue is not cooling down that pepper. It is going down the very same way. And so that is burning the sensitive lining in the stomach. And a lot of people do not recognize what is happening. And they'll tell you, oh, I've been eating pepper from I was 10 or 15 or whatever. Later on in life, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. We all should get a copy of that book. Many things that we do in our younger days and we don't see the impact or the effect, but later on in life, we get sick and we're having all these different diseases, not knowing that is what we did. And so the body keeps the score of these things. So yes, while it's burning your mouth, it is destroying, it's burning the stomach. You're just not feeling it right now until later on when you end up with some ulcers or gastritis, because that tender lining, it is damaged over the years. Just like anything else that we're doing, your tire, it takes a while for the tire to wear down, or you've got a pair of shoes, you can wear it for a couple of years and then it wears down. The same thing is happening inside, but we're not aware at that particular point in time.
Yeah. Well, with spices, I was never good with the pepper. It would take away from the taste of the food. So would you say that, because I know cayenne pepper has a lot of remedial purposes that are really good. So I guess it's safe to just keep it in that kind of category.
Amen. Exactly. So we keep it for medicinal use. So even vinegar is excellent outside. So if you got a fungus in your toe, fungus in your fingernail, your toenail, we use it for soaking, like persons with circulation problems. You can soak it in warm water with vinegar. You can use it in your hair to bring back the pH into the scalp. So it has uses, and everything that is out there, they all have their uses. So let us keep them as medicine. Cayenne is excellent for medicine. The very same cayenne can be used for persons with poor circulation problem. You can use the cayenne with some olive oil and use that to massage, to bring back, the blood to the surface to get the circulation going. And so these things all have their uses and their purposes, but not for food, not to be taken internally.
Internally, if you do use cayenne pepper, would it not circulate the blood and
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it would. But you don't want to be taking it as food. So let us say if cayenne is excellent for even helping with blood circulation, but if you're using this every day, so each time you cook, you're using cayenne pepper and this, cayenne pepper and that. When you need that now to help the body in a medicinal form, the body will not recognize it as medicine because you have been using this as food all along. So the body will not benefit at that time.
The other thing is a lot of people kind of get encouraged to drink and eat as well with the pepper. So that's another thing, because some people will be like, oh, I need to quench myself, and then they'll end up drinking and eating. So
Exactly. Right.
that's
So eating pepper does promote eating and drinking, which does affect the stomach as well. So yeah, so cayenne internally, if we're using it like for the flu balm or you've got the cold, because when I feel like I'm getting any little sniffle, when I'm having my warm lemon water in the morning, I'll just put a little tip of cayenne pepper in that, maybe with some honey, mix that, and I'll drink that. So if you feel like you're getting sick, you need it for medicine, yes, but not for food on an everyday basis, because they all have their uses, but let's keep them on the category of medicine, medicinal uses only.
Yeah, and one more thing, I did hear some people say, like, I know Angie White says to drink just the pure water and what have you, but some people say, because we don't have the minerals and stuff, they kind of mix, before they drink a little, a good salt like Celtic salt, or when
Celtic
they're
salt, yeah.
drinking it down, because it's like seawater kind of thing. You know how our body structure is with the salt and the water. So I guess that's good if we're taking down water with this Celtic salt or something.
Well, I just drink pure water, and we're just counseled to drink pure water. When I do add a little bit of salt is if I feel like I'm getting something. So that little concoction there, I'll put a little cayenne pepper, some honey, a little tip of the pink salt, the Celtic salt, and what else? The lemon in my warm water, and I'll drink that down because I'm using it for medicine. But we don't need anything added to water, just pure water. The water has enough minerals and everything, so we don't need to be adding anything to our water, just pure water. Maybe a lemon in the morning, just in your 16 ounce, and that's it really. So we don't need colors or fruits in the water, just pure water.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right, what's going on in the chat? I'm not seeing any more hands. This is what's happening in the chat. Any questions in the chat? Let's get to them.
Good night.
Hi, Vita.
My Chromebook doesn't allow me to
Okay.
have my hand.
All right, sure.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
You just mentioned drinking pure water.
Right.
The addition of chlorine in the water, is that still pure water? Because sometimes you can actually take the taste of the chlorine in the water.
Do you have a filter? Filter your water. Get a charcoal filter and filter the water. Oh, you got that? Filter your water, and that will make your water better for drinking. Seemed like she fell off again.
Excuse me, I didn't get your response clearly.
Oh yes, a filter. You can buy a filter, a charcoal filter, and filter your water. That's what I do. I filter my water.
Okay, so if you are not able to get the filtered charcoal, but you have the what you call activated charcoal, can you add that to your water?
That would be a decision that you will make. I use activated charcoal in my water if I'm using it maybe for detoxifying or for some medicinal reason, not for drinking as I drink water ordinarily. So I would not be able to tell you to put activated charcoal in your water just for drinking your water. I use that for medicine, but I drink everything. Once I put the charcoal in the water, I stir it up. So if there's food poisoning or toxin or whatever, I'll drink that down for medicine. As it relates to you using that to filter your water, that's a decision that you could make based on doing your research. But I use a Brita filter, which is a charcoal filter. I filter my water. So. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right, any more questions? All right, let me get over to, I would not say that we're higher. Okay. Intelligent, okay. Humans are made, okay. What about organic goat milk? Goat milk, that's still from the animal system. Is there an alternative to butter? Yes, do I have the butter recipe? I could share that another time. Yeah, use your nuts to make your butter. Exactly. Yes, tahini, which is made from the sesame seeds. Okay, great responses. What kind of cheese can I use for lasagna? Your cashew cheese. Excellent for your lasagna. What about ketchup? Yeah, you can use tomatoes and make your own ketchup with lemon, of course, lemon juice. Yep, Jamaicans use vinegar for escabeche fish. We know that, but and that's one of the responses or feedback we get from people. I've been doing this from I was young, or my grandparents, and okay, so I know, but once knowledge has come, we're expected to change our behavior, right? Sweetened porridge, you can use, yes, the honey, the agave maple syrup, definitely. And the best milk, make your own. Coconut milk, your own almonds, your own cashew. If you need those kind of stuff, you make your own. It's better, at least you know what you're getting and what you're drinking. Those boxes that we have and these milk, maybe if they do have almond in them, maybe 2 or 3, and that's it. And all kind of other additives and water and stuff. So make your own. I usually add some fried, good fried fruits, excellent. Dried fruits, yes, your raisins, your dates, those are good. I always thought is the best pepper for, yes, Anne-Marie, cayenne pepper is excellent, but not for food every day, for medicinal purposes, yes. Well, I've explained what takes place in the stomach when we're having the irritating spices. Okay, all right. Cayenne is good for COVID. Yes, cayenne is good for viruses. It does help because we use that as a part of the flu bomb that we have been making throughout COVID. Cayenne, yes, someone is having a heart attack. You can, the little cayenne pepper under the tongue, and that could help to prevent a stroke as well. Cinnamon or even nutmeg. Someone is having a stroke or you've got that close by, you can use that as well to help the person. And for nuts, when we talk about nuts, don't just sit and eat a whole bag of nuts. A handful, and that's it when it comes to nuts, everything in moderation, just a handful of nuts, and that's it. All right, I'm just looking through. So an alter is needed for almond milk and almond. Jamaican almond is excellent. Oh yes, I use Jamaican almond to make almond milk, and the coconut milk is good, definitely. Flaxseed. You know what? They're poisoning our food out there. Flaxseed is good for us, but with all the toxicity out there, we just have to be careful in what we're eating. But flaxseed is good because it helps to provide the omega-3 fatty acids that we need, right? What can be added to your water? Just drink your water. If you're really depleted, you could maybe tip a little bit of salt or drink coconut water. Excellent to give you electrolytes. Coconut water. Almond nuts need to be soaked to give. Yes, definitely soak your nuts for sure. Yeah. Just like our grains, we tend to soak some of our grains and our nuts. So definitely. Rose and then Ank, go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. I don't use sugar, but I have the cold for a couple of days now. Can't get rid of it.
Okay. Do you know what is causing it? Because we normally look at the cause. Do you know what is causing the cold?
Well, I'm trying to ascertain the cause, but I don't know. Because I'm eating my own stuff. I make everything. I don't, so I don't understand why the cold is still here for 4 days now. My nose is stuffy, but that's the only thing. Sometimes it runs, but when I go out in the cold, it runs, but I don't know what's going on, and I am not doing anything that is out of my, out of the, I mean, like I'm not doing anything unhealthy, and
Right.
so I'm trying to ascertain, I'm trying to look back at what I'm using. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, where are you?
Hmm?
Where are you joining us from? You
New
mentioned the
Jersey.
cold. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey, yeah.
All right. Are you strictly plant-based?
I'm strictly plant-based.
Strictly plant-based.
Strictly
All right.
plant-based. And I
And
make everything from
you make
scratch.
everything from scratch.
Yes.
Okay. Have you tried some cayenne with some honey
I
and
tried-
lemon and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
Yes?
did. Yeah, I did a concoction with the lemon and the ginger and the garlic and the honey and and some cayenne, and also I put a little what do you call it, the honey, the lemon, the ginger, the garlic, and the onion. Yeah, and I drank it, and I feel good. Like I feel like my body didn't need it. Like it was. So I went to the bathroom, and that was it. And I did only one, maybe 2 ounces I had, and that was it, because I don't think I really need that. So
Okay.
so, and then after I did an onion syrup by
I
itself.
was
and
about to recommend that. Okay.
Yeah, I did the onion syrup, and I drank 2 teaspoons a day, and that's what I've been doing. It just finished yesterday. So yeah.
All right. So keep on
Yeah.
doing what you're doing with the onion syrup. That is excellent. As well as you could drop just a little tip of peppermint oil peppermint in it, if you have the peppermint, or also try, can you get elderberry?
I can get it. I don't have it, but I can get it. Yeah.
Okay, so get some elderberry, get some mullein, 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 mullein.
Yes, yes.
And thyme. So do those three together and make some tea, and then let me know the feedback next to Tuesday night.
You know what? 2 days ago, I had elderberry at my daughter's house. Yeah.
Okay. So do that. So elderberry, mullein, and thyme. Make some tea, have a cup or 2 cups per day, and let me know how that works out for you next week, Tuesday night. Or if you're on the Daniel fast, you can tell us one morning. All right. That should definitely help you.
Okay. So the thyme that we buy in the supermarket, I can use that, right?
Yes, definitely. Are you getting your sunlight? Are you having enough water? Are you sleeping well? What about those?
Well, I think I'm getting enough sunlight, because there isn't enough sun over here.
Your vitamin D. Are you taking a vitamin D supplement?
I'm taking a vitamin D3 liquid supplement occasionally, yes. But the sleep, I don't think I'm getting enough sleep. Yeah.
Well, that will break down the immune system. So you have to address that. Remember, we always talk about ascertaining the cause. So now we're going to look at the cause, and we're looking at the 8 laws. Now, if you're adhering to all 8 and you're still having a problem, is when the remedies come in. But if you're not adhering to all the 8 laws and you're sick, ascertain the cause. Go back to the laws of health. All right. And hopefully that should help. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank
you.
You're
welcome.
So
all right, no problem. Hank, it's your turn.
Good evening again. As it relates to rules, I was going to say actually that sometimes you just have to allow the body to do its work, because sometimes when we think that we're creating our ingesting remedies, we're actually delaying the body's effective means by which it is trying to eliminate. So give it time to do what it needs to do. Rest. And drink plenty of fluids and allow the body to flush or expel whatever it is, because sometimes we may not be having sugar, but over the years we accumulate things, even though we may be on a plant-based diet, but much of these plants or things that we are consuming are filled with so much toxins that the body needs time to eliminate them.
That's right.
You had mentioned that certain foods are good for you because you mentioned certain minerals that it have. But I work in an industry where a lot of the chemicals that are utilized are highly toxic and dangerous, but they do have substances in them that are highly beneficial to the body. So we should not think that because a particular food has certain things in it, because they will always have certain things in it that are beneficial to the body. And what I've found in society is that you might have a particular fruit, and because it has one particular nutrient in it that is beneficial for the body, they market it based on that. But but the other 99 of them are highly toxic and dangerous. So we need to look into that and not basically utilize substances or foods because they have minerals or vitamins or things in them that are beneficial to the body. Almost all, even we mentioned cow's milk, it has beneficial things in it for that the body needs, but it is not good for you. Cheese has certain things in it that are beneficial, but it's not good for you. And I can go on and on. So this is what we need to look at, not because garlic, for instance. Garlic eats away at your arteries. Garlic is toxic in some senses, but it has antibacterial properties and antimicrobial properties. But also, if you eat that thing too much, it will actually kill you. So, this is how we need to address and look at the things that we're actually consuming, not for the one or two things in it that are beneficial for us, but if is it good for us holistically and holistically. Have a good evening.
Thank you. And you're so correct. Everything in moderation. And so, yes, it might have beneficial properties, but at the same time, how much are we consuming? And yeah, as you talked about garlic, we do not promote eating raw garlic because of how strong and powerful that thing is. So you'd have to maybe steam or cook that garlic before it can be consumed. All right. Are we finished with the questions? Vinegar. So Christine, you're asking if apple cider is the same thing as white vinegar. Yes. And so I was specifically speaking about the apple cider vinegar that we have been consuming. White vinegar should not be put internally any at all. That's for cleaning your surfaces and your floors. Maybe washing your clothes, right? But not for internal use. So no vinegar at all. Use a white one for cleaning, washing, use the ACV outside, externally on your body for whatever ailments, but not for internal use. Okay, I see and there are many suggestions in the chat that are helpful regarding my sister who's having that lingering cold. And I like that suggestion, allow the body to heal itself. Sometimes we're over-medicating even on the natural remedies, because we're not giving the body a chance to heal itself and get rid of the toxins that are built up in the body. All right, I believe we answered all the questions. Tamara is asking about rice vinegar. Tamara, vinegar is vinegar. It doesn't matter what it is made from. It is from fermented foods or fruits. It is the end stage of alcohol. Do you drink alcohol? If no, why do you want to be having vinegar? I've explained, and that is why we do what we do. We just don't tell you not to. And too many times, even children, when you tell a child, don't do this, child will ask you why. And so we're supposed to be explaining to a child why they should not do X, because if you tell them just don't do it, they're going to do it. We just don't tell you don't do this or don't eat that. I've explained tonight why we're not supposed to be using certain things. So let's do the cause and effect. Let's do the reasoning, which we have provided enough information for you to make a decision on, right? So it's the same, very, very same thing as apple cider is the same thing, any kind of vinegar. Exactly. We know that apple cider has been promoted out there for weight loss, for health, for this, for that. But we are coming to you with the proper and the right information because we're explaining to you what is taking place in your stomach, right? And I think I provided enough information for us to make a decision. Now, if you want to know and continue, then we would have done our best. Yes, Rose, I see your hand.
Yes, I forget to ask this question. When is the best time to take the vitamin D3 supplement?
It's best in the day. It's best in the day. Yeah, take it in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Is that it for all the questions? Before I forget, we have our medical missionary training coming up on January 15th. I saw people have already started to register. That's good. Keep the registration going. And what I am doing, I was not born with the knowledge. Knowledge is out there. We're sharing the knowledge that we know so that you can be doing what I'm doing if you choose, if you desire. So do the medical missionary training, sign up, get registered. The flyer was sent out and we're hoping that a lot more people will be registering, okay? All the recordings will be made available to all the persons who have registered. So you will get the recordings that will be for you because you have registered as a student for the training. All right. Any more questions? You are welcome, Jenny. It was nice seeing you guys on Sunday. Christine, you tell me what the sauerkraut is made from, and if it has vinegar, if it has any of the condiments or the spices or whatever that we mentioned earlier on in it. You can make your own probiotic. If you're looking at a probiotic or your prebiotic, you can make those from cabbages, from certain vegetables, right? So if you're making these things at home and they do not have these ingredients that we mentioned, then I'm sure they're safe to consume because you're making them yourself, right? All right. Any more questions? Any more comments? Feedback? No? It's the first you're hearing about the medical missionary. All right. Let me put the information in the chat and then you can contact me. Okay, Cecilia, question. Go ahead, Cecilia.
What is the best charcoal filter to use?
Okay, when it comes to brands, we don't recommend brands nor anything like that. We just do your research and see what is best out there. Currently, I use a breeder filter. I find that they filter my water fairly well. I like the taste of the water, and I've not